Hey, what's going on, guys? Alex from Angle Sports Center, and this is your weekly fishing report. So we're going to start off things with rockfish. As you guys know, most of the bite's still pretty far down south into southern Maryland, anywhere from, I will say, north of the power plant south. And remember, those fish do move a lot, so covering some water is going to be key to finding, good bite out there. Uh, don't just get stuck in fishing, obviously, deep water. At times, these fish can push in shallow water, so it's a good, thing to sometimes pull in and check out some shallow water areas. Obviously, as a safety net, the power plant's always going to be a good option to check out and see if there's any fish around there. But open water ledges around the chipping channels, main points, off the mouth of the rivers in that southern portion are going to be great areas to start looking. Of course, not most of the time there's not gonna be bird shows, but there could be still some of them. Uh, Obviously, electronics are gonna be key, and for right now, your bigger baits are most likely gonna be the best option, but don't be limited to that. Also carry some heavy metals, anywhere from 2 to 3 ounce will do the trick, as well as your bigger size straight tail plastics on a jig or paddle tails, especially when you're fishing a little bit shallower or the fish are up high. Couple other little lures to try out there are the big flutter spoons, 6 to 8 inch, are also great lures to try when you're in those schools of fish. With white perch right now, we can still catch some white perch, especially if you're fishing in some of those deeper holes. You will find some of those fish, for example, in the Patuxent, some of these reef areas out in the middle of the bay, and tipping, bottom rigs with small night crawlers, bloodworms, even bait shrimp or artificials are going to be the best way to target them during this winter season. As we move on to the creeks and tidal creeks and whatnot, rivers around the area, some areas have been dealing with some ice, especially way back in the headwaters, but the pickerel fishing is still going on right now in some of that open water. Remember, pickerel do like some cold, so this is the best time to get out there. Just be safe out in that cold water. Most of the rivers here, like the Magothy, Patuxent, Seven River, are still producing some decent sized fish. And this is the best time to get some of those citation pickerel. While doing that, you can also catch the other stuff. Sometimes you might find some yellow perch and other species like catfish here and there, depending on where you are. Small baits, spinner baits, jerk baits are going to be the best thing to use for those species. As we move on to like northern Maryland, we're talking about anywhere from the Patapsco north. Guys up in Perryville and Harvey the Grace are starting to find some of those yellow perch in those deep holes right at the mouth of the Susquehanna. So live minnows on bottom rigs and even some heavier small jigs will be great to target those fish. Remember, depending on the flow of that river, everything can change, so keep an eye on the flow coming out of that dam. That will determine everything on that fishery, as well as some catfish in that area, especially blue catfish. If you drop down, don't be surprised if you hook one on a yellow perch bottom rig. Same thing in the Potomac, guys. Blue catfish is still a great option for you guys fishing there, especially if you're bank fishing. This is probably one of the best times to go out there. I know it's cold, but if you got a little bit of cabin fever and you want to get out and try some, luck out there, catfishing will be a great thing anywhere in the DC or Maryland sections of the river. Let's move on to some freshwater. Most of the smaller ponds on the eastern shore or central Maryland are in northern Maryland, essentially everywhere in the state might be frozen now, but some of the larger reservoirs or lakes are still open. Loch Raven, I know it's still wide open, and some of the other ones around there. And the pickerel fishing, for what I heard from some guys, it's actually been really good. Obviously, it's just bank fishing for now, but jerk baits have been the ticket, especially giving it a longer pause on the jerk when you work those baits. It's been working really well by doing that. So if you want to go on a hike and check out some of those areas, this is probably the best time to do that. As we move down to the coast, most of the guys right now are going out to try to target some of those bluefin. Remember, the season did open up back up now that we're into 2026. So It is time to get out there if we have a little bit of weather, breaks here with all this wind and whatnot. So it's time to get out there and check out some of those fish around the area. Who knows, how thick they are out there, since not many people have been going out, but we're definitely going to start getting some more reports this upcoming week if there's a little window there. More for you guys, I guess, more enclosed around the inlets and whatnot. Some guys are still messing with tog around the 50 bridge and inlets with some frozen green crabs or any kind of, crabs and shrimp, and pulling some of those fish out of the rocks. So if you want to try that, that's one great option to get you out of the house. That's it for your fishing report, guys. Thank you for watching and have a good one.